Hello, everyone. Today here we have Elijah Henderson, and I would be, asking him a series of questions pertaining to his internship, how it was, and what exactly he's going to take from his internship with him as he goes on with his future. I'm gonna give a little introduction about myself. My name is David-Earl Russell. I am a rising senior at St. John's University. I majored sociology with a minor in Hispanic studies, and I'm from California. And so, Elijah, you want to go ahead and give a brief introduction of yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much, David. My name is Elijah Henderson. I'm a rising senior, St. John's University, political science major, communication minor.
So we're going to go ahead and get right into these questions. So the first one is, how was your overall experience at Minneapolis Parks Foundation?
Yeah, so my experience with the Minneapolis Parks Foundation has been overall super positive. I really went into this experience trying to think about, what am I looking for in an internship site? And the Minneapolis Parks Foundation hit all those things. At first, I don't know if I was like ready or like knowing, what the Minneapolis Parks Foundation had to offer me. But as I went through the experience and understood, one, the people who work within it, which I think absolutely amazing people. And I met a lot of people from all different walks of life, but who came together and used their different skills to benefit the organization, which I think is a beautiful way to look at, company and how companies ran. But just understanding, the amount of opportunities that they've offered me in regards to thinking critically, thinking outside the box, thinking, what thinking in a way that I had never thought before. And I think that's really what I took from this experience was to think, in areas in which I had never forced myself to think before, but also learning how to talk and meet new people. I think that was a beautiful experience for me. And I think it was a super beneficial experience.
Cool, yeah. I do think, although, it's kind of unfortunate to say that, everybody doesn't always get to have like this great experience at the internship because it doesn't always work out. But, we should, cause I had the same experience as well with the Minneapolis Parks Foundation. So, we're both really grateful that I've been presented this opportunity. So for the next question, going into more details about your experience, what was one of your main responsibilities as an intern?
Yeah, so for me, my biggest responsibility was working with David and our supervisor Paul on the Reimagining Civic Commons project, which was a project that had been introduced to us as soon as like our internship started, but we were later told that like this was a very new project for everybody at the organization. So to be a part of something that was at the ground level, really setting that foundation for what could eventually be something really cool, I thought was super interesting. So what I did personally in this section of the project was I worked on kind of doing some research on socioeconomic mixing as well as building value and value creation in these sites. So there's like a multitude of different sites that are along the Mississippi River. And so what we were doing is we're trying to think about how do we bring and allow access and or just bring North Minneapolis constituents and residents to that area and to allow for that area to be a space that they can use on a regular basis. What I specifically focus on is something that I'm super interested in kind of moving forward is access to those spaces. We did a quick little walkthrough of the site. And when we were walking to this site, it's called the 26th Avenue Overlook, and it's currently in construction. But as we were walking to that site, you have to go over I-94. You have to make a little bit of an effort to get to that area. And around the area is a bunch of surrounding industrial companies and whatnot. And to see that and to think about me as a young person wanting to go to that site and thinking about my siblings who are younger than me, thinking about my mom who would want to bring my siblings to this area. Like I started thinking about, is it really accessible to everybody? Is it a certain type of person who would want to go visit this? Why is that the case? What can we do to change that? And so I really started looking into just access. How do we create more access? And what I really came up with, I guess, was having a bus route, a transit system somehow that was free to all residents in Minneapolis and allowed for people to travel around these sites on a more accessible, equitable, and fair basis. I think it's just a really cool idea that I've been really looking into. And although, there's a lot that goes into that, and this is just the groundwork of my research, I think we have a lot of really cool suggestions and plans that we could implement if, we had the support and backing, which I feel like we do. And so I'm just excited to see what kind of comes in the future.
Yeah, I think it was really great that we were able to come in at this moment when everything was new, because we had the potential to actually make a huge impact, and there's still time for our suggestions and challenges and tips to be implemented so that we could actually potentially have, not say that we potentially like see what we say like being implemented into the project. So I think that'd be cool to see at the end once all this is being put together. So for the next question is, do you plan on applying what you've experienced at Minneapolis Parks Foundation in your future endeavors?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Obviously, we're nearing the end of our college experience, running into our senior year. And at this point, I remember myself in high school thinking, okay, I'm supposed to go to college, but like what's after that? Like there's just this unknown, you don't know what's happening next. And so I'm really starting to think about, what do I want to do and how do I apply this internship to, my future endeavors. And so personally, I really want to run for local government at some point in my life. I think local government is a big aspect of how we get things done in our communities, how we stay community, keep the community engaged, and really work on building community within everybody. And like working with the Minneapolis Parks Foundation, I realized how closely organizations and nonprofits can work with local government, and how impactful these individual organizations have in making decisions and or influencing those who are in power. And I think having these connections with individuals who I've worked with, with Minneapolis Parks Foundation, being able to truly see the impact they're making and understanding, the small intricacies of what this organization represents and what they're doing, I think it'd be very beneficial with me being on the other side of the aisle, on the other side of the table, looking at them and embracing what they have to offer and allowing for them to have a space to be heard. I think at the end of the day, a lot of groups have historically been have been silenced. And I really want to find a way to bring voices to those who have been silenced. I think MPF has done that. They've offered a lot of advice and connection with the Minneapolis Parks Board, and just having those connections, being able to understand the connection that you can build between a non-government related organization and a government related organization, and using both skills to bring together community, I think is really important. And so for me personally, I would say I've taken a lot of critical thinking out of this. I've taken a lot of more analytical thinking, and I've been really pushing myself to think outside of the box, push myself out of my comfort zone, and do something that I personally may have never done if I didn't step out of my comfort zone and take it. And I know that this opportunity has allowed me to grow and develop as a leader, moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's really great. Even though like you don't have plans to go directly into urban planning, I feel like it'll help you for your political future. Make you a well-rounded candidate, because it's just, you shouldn't only know about like laws and stuff like that. Like you need to know about actually communities, how those two correlate and all that stuff. So I feel like that'd be really great. But so for our next question, what was the most surprising / interesting thing you experienced or learned during your time at this internship?
I would say my skill set, because like I really went into this internship. For one, I had no idea what Minneapolis Parks Foundation was before this internship. Like didn't even have a clue. I've lived around Minneapolis my whole life, and to not have even heard about them or heard about like the board, honestly, I didn't even know what the Minneapolis Parks Board was. And so to be able to see what I could offer these places, these organizations, these spaces, I think was a really impactful and surprising situation or experience for me. Personally, I really think that I've grown a lot being able to step out of my comfort zone and do something that I probably would have never done in a lot of other situations. To start, this internship wasn't really my first choice, but I fell in love with it because I knew once I was here that this is some important work that is being done. And so to understand the importance of this work and to see, the impact that this work is doing on communities, I realized one, don't judge a book by its cover. And I know that's a saying that's said all the time, but you really can't judge a book by its cover, because you may see a sign, you may see an organization and just read their name and be like, that is not for me, which is what I kind of did at first. I was like, I'm not really sure. But as I got into it, as I understood what they do, I realized, this is a great organization. They do great work. And I would love to be a part of something like this once I graduate, once I become a member of the professional world. Just understanding that importance and to really take that importance as opportunity to grow. I think that's really what I took from this, and it was a really surprising and interesting experience for me.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you really, took a lot out of it, can help you not only like you got some personal growth out of this too, not just like experience, which is always important to try and get out of your internship. And so, from your personal growth and stuff like that, what advice do you have to give to future interns who work with the Minneapolis Parks Foundation?
I would say to any new intern who's interested in this or who's not, step out of your comfort zone. Do what you did not expect yourself doing. I did not plan on being a part of the Minneapolis Parks Foundation, in the spring semester going into the summer. This was not a part of my plan, but I realized that you can only grow once you feel uncomfortable. That's the only way you truly grow. You can kind of grow when you kind of know somebody, or you might know a space you're a little bit familiar with. But when you don't know anyone, when you're stepping into a situation, even like meeting you, David, me and you knew each other obviously in school, but like we weren't really that close. Not to say that like we had like a vendetta against each other. We just weren't in the same friend groups and whatever. But yet we still allowed this opportunity to help us grow and to get to know each other a little bit better. And I think that's what is so great and important about stepping out of your comfort zone and meeting new people, doing new things, trying new things. Do something that you did not expect yourself to do. I really think that's an opportunity for you to grow, to learn about yourself, to self-reflect, to be able to be in a space where you are, tapping into skills that you may not know. So I would say to any intern who is interested in Minneapolis Parks Foundation, do it. It's a great opportunity. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to grow a lot. You're going to meet great people. But also for those who have never heard of it, who have never thought about it, try something new. If it's not MPF, try something new. Do something that you've never done before, because at the end of the day, that's how you grow. That's how you learn. And that's how you really start to establish yourself as a professional and as an individual that has versatile skills and assets to bring to an organization. So that's probably what I would say.
Well, you guys heard it here, folks, from Elijah Henderson. The best way to grow is to step out your comfort zone. So everybody, make sure that's something that you take into consideration, as you progress through your futures or even just through life. So always step out your comfort zone in order to grow. But I also want to say thank you for having this interview with me, Elijah Henderson, and I look forward to continue this partnership as we go on. Thanks everybody, and have a good day. Bye.